Right boys, so we're on, what are we on? 4? Is this 4? Episode 4, yeah.
4, man.
When we first said, we maybe want to start doing a podcast and reaching out to our members and that, I thought, I can't wait to get this guy out here.
You started yesterday in reception talking about stuff.
Yeah,
we
did. So we've got Hewey on, one of our coaches, probably one of the OGs in here as well. Been around for a while now.
2019, probably around
You were here before COVID, weren't you?
Just before, before COVID,
Yeah. I always remember him being on the treadmill with a mask on, running with a medicine ball. And I was like,
That was the first week. That was first week.
You just think, we're never going to be mates, and then lo and behold, it goes back.
Is that way there?
I remember you coming in doing your own CrossFit stuff.
But I did, that's the saying, that's where I first started. And
CrossFit's big in the Royal Marines and in the Special
massive.
Forces and the tiers, isn't it? It's in the
like
top
2012 when it sort of boomed in the forces, and then all the gyms up on camp were set up as CrossFit gyms.
What's the one down in the... There's one down somewhere, I can't remember what it's called. I think it's where all the SAS, SBS guys train, and theirs is like elite court. I can't remember what it's called.
It'll be down St Athens in Wales.
Yeah, it looks like a professional sports team, like a top tier sports team. This episode is going to start about a bit of Hewey's life because it's an interesting lifestyle, like Royal Marine. Not many people go into that walk of life. Active Royal Marine as well. So we're going to have a few questions about that. Then we're going to lead into some other things, kind of where life went after that. A little bit of mental health, which I think we can all relate to as well, which is going to be a good chat for us, which I think is in the gym sphere as well, is we're all at the coalface of it, aren't we? Like we see, or I definitely think I see, the importance of exercise and community and people speaking together
100%.
and how that impacts your mental well-being. What made you decide that you're going to get the green beret and become a Royal Marine?
2005, I was in year 10 at school and I didn't have a clue what I wanted to do. It's like this area where we live in, everyone's sold to go down the road, aren't they? Which is where they ended up eventually.
Put it off as long as you could.
I put it off as long as I could. I didn't want to go down that line of way, but I wasn't sure. But previous to that, I can remember being, the first time the military sort of came here, I was sat in French in school in year 7, and a teacher come in saying towers had been hit. And it was obviously 9/11, and that was the first sort of time I'd seen like military and the presence, because obviously that's where the war's obviously boomed from that. And then year 10, I was in school and we had a careers fair. So like you had like the army came in,
So you'll have been about what, 10 or 11 when the Twin Towers got struck?
I was the second oldest in my year at school. So my birthday is 5th of September, so like I more or less turned 12 when I started year 7. But we had that careers fair in year 10, so I'll have been 15 then. Like you said, you had ambulance, fire service, police, one of the army, I think it was Duke of Lancs local regiment came in.
Which is the one that normally comes from here, isn't it?
It's more or less like recruited from here, and they had a crack with us. And I wasn't really sold on any of it, and then I did plumbing as my work experience. I did that for a week, and I just found it boring, I just didn't enjoy it. And then I actually had a crack with a family, not a relative to me, but like related into our family. He was an ex-Marine who actually rejoined after he had this crack with us, and I just met up with him, and I didn't know the difference between Army, Navy, RAF. We just thought there was one military, and he had a crack with us about the Marines and kind of sold it, and then it just escalated from there. I went and had my interview at Carlisle careers office. That was a local careers office.
And what's that like? Is that them selling you I don't want to say selling you the dream, but is that them selling you the idea of like you're going to be this? Because we've all seen the adverts.
The process to join now is a lot different. Everything's online, so you register your interest and everything now, and you more or less do everything online up until the point of meeting that careers advisor for the first time and then going to do your fitness stuff. But back then it was, you had to have an interview straight away with a careers advisor. So I went in and it was actually a Navy guy.
So not a Royal Marine?
No, it was a Navy guy, a shippers. And he basically told me the difference between them and that, and he more or less sold the Marines to us. And it was, you mentioned the adverts there, it was the old advert, which was the 99.99% need not apply advert, if you remember it. It was it was a 16-year-old kid that looked about 12, and it showed him going from stage to stage, and then it was the tunnel experience. And that's actually one of the commando tests where you go under the tunnel.
On like the assault course?
Yeah, on the assault course. They make it look on the advert as if you're going about 100 metres, but it's literally from me to Nath away, that's how far it is you're going under. And that was
like half submerged in water.
Yeah, you get fully put into like a circular tunnel, pushed under, and you get dragged through the other end. And it's like it was that sort of advert. I remember seeing the first time I seen that advert was in the careers office. And
were you an active person in your lifestyle before you went into the military?
That's why you crossed over so easy. So I was massively into football when I was younger, but I stopped playing football about, I think, when was it, in year... Basically banged my head in year 5 at school and had a blood clot in my brain.
All right. Well,
I've got a massive scar down there, And then I got out of football and I started getting into swimming, and then I sort of all the way through secondary school I was a swimmer. And it was like early mornings. I was training 10 times a week, so the fitness side of things, it was easy to transfer. So I did the interview, did the sort of psychometric tests and that you had to do, and then I went on like a 1-day fitness course in Glasgow. Passed that, and then I went down to Livingston, which is the training centre, commando training centre, Royal Marines, that you do your training at. And you do like a 3-day fitness assessment down there, which is like your bleep test, your pull-ups, press-ups, sit-ups to a bleep. And then you used to do a mile and a half as a group, and then you had to do a mile and a half best effort back, and you had to get under 10 minutes, I think it was at the time. And that sort of stuff was on that 3-day fitness assessment, that was the easy part. Like you say, with the transferring across from the swimming, the fitness wasn't the hard bit, but it was the day after. They take you up to Woodbury Common, which is like a wooded area that obviously the training centre uses down there, and you do a day of where they'll take you through one of the commando tests is the endurance course, which is like 4 miles, it's 2 miles of tunnels and then the 4-mile run back. But they just take you through the tunnels on this 3-day fitness assessment. And then for about an hour and a half after that, they just hammer you, and they've just got you casually dragging and crawling, and that's where you see people like drop off.
So obviously, once you've passed that, how long was it between, right, you passed and joining?
The youngest you can do your sort of joining process, it might have changed now, but it was 15 and 9 months. You had to sign up. Obviously, you can't deploy an operation until you're 18, but you can start your process at 15 and...
I think we've had this crack, which I think is mental. Like, you can do everything but the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can't do the actual...
What you're signing up for.
But so I did that 3-day fitness assessment in year 10 at school. So right. I still had the whole year 11, so I passed that.
And then went...
Knowing I was joining the Marines before I even went year 11.
When you joined, what was... the day-to-day training like
down there.
So as soon as you went down, would you bag on your back, got there?
It's the shock of capture you get when you get down there. As soon as you get there, everyone's having to shave, no beards. Everyone's hair got shaved to more or less a skinhead. And back then you were on one big room there was 54 in my troop.
Full metal jacket type.
Basically, that's as close as you can get though. 54 years, there was 54 in the room, and it was like, everything's progressive. It's 32 weeks of training, so the first stuff they're teaching you is how to make a bed. You get people coming straight from school, like I came straight from school, so how to make a bed, how to shave, they even teach you how to shower.
I was going to say, like, I watched one years ago, and it was like, here's how you wash your balls, and like, but obviously there's some...
You've been watching?
It was good. I rewound it, watched it, and then I watched it again.
So like measure the fold on the bed and everything.
Everything, like hospital corners, how you do it, like hospital corners.
Why do they do that? You're going to have your bed sheet 6 inches or whatever it might be. Like what?
It's just a discipline thing, innit? It's like, they used to always say, hey, if you can't
do the easy things.
Can't do the easy stuff on camp, how are you meant to soldier? Like, how can you do the hard stuff? And that's the way they sell it.
Yeah. What you don't realise with the British is like how long there's been a professional army for. Hundreds and hundreds of years. So all this stuff has got it to the point now where it's like, this is what professional soldiering looks like.
And it's more or less, I know things have changed, like over the last 5, 10, like from when I started to now, it's a massive change. You go kit, equipment, weapons, sort of, with advancement of technology and that, but the basics are all the same, as in they still get taught all them basics the exact same as I did, as they did 20, 30, 50 years ago. Nothing's changed there.
And we'll get into it in a little bit later on, but do you know, or have you found, is there more of a change in the army now of I don't want to say a caring environment, but has the professionalism of it changed a little bit in terms of it was very, I can imagine you maybe go back and it was like almost like dog eat dog, like the survival has to be the toughest, whereas now it's like, you know, we're still going to look for, like I think you said, the grey man.
Yeah, the grey
man. But like, how do you look out, how do they look after people's mental well-being a little bit? Are they a bit more sharp on that now? Is there an outlet for that in there?
Yeah, it's a lot better from when I first started. Like, I don't know how to answer that correctly, actually.
How has again, because you've not been in for a while, but how has the military changed from being that, I looked at it from a just tough men, you just survive, and like, I think now that everything's got more professional, from sports team to like what we do, being able to create an environment where people are more at ease themselves, I think is a big thing in all walks.
Like the fitness side of things, like when I joined, and maybe 10 years previous to when I joined, it was a massive drinking culture in the military.
Yeah.
It was literally everyone pissed it up. I mean, I lived through it for 20 years. It's all you did was booze. The exercise, it was literally running body weight stuff. And it was like combat fitness. It was always like you say, in casualty drag, stuff like that. But over the last 10 sort of 20 years, especially like you say with CrossFit and that, like the fitness has been a lot more advanced. There's a lot more sort of science behind
Strength
it. Strength
and conditioning to it, rather than just I'll break your body and then we'll rehab it. Yeah,
that's literally what it is. I was changed.
Have you got any memorable experiences from it, like something that sticks out in your mind a little bit?
In training, most memorable side in training, they always preach about the commando qualities. You had courage, determination, unselfishness and cheerfulness in the face of adversity, and that was the big ones. Cheerfulness in the face of adversity, basically
humour, or
laughing when it's shit, when it's down. And I can remember endless times in training, you'd be on Dartmoor, it'd be 2 a.m, pissing down, -5, you're tired, you haven't slept for 3 or 4 days, and you just start laughing together, like, and it was just like, what the fuck, I could be at home now in my bed. All my mates are at sixth form, or they're all on holiday,
comfortable life,
they're all working down the road, and then you're sat there in a puddle in the middle of Dartmoor, like,
laugh or you'll cry.
Well, I was just about to say, is that it? Is it like we start laughing or we all start crying?
That's exactly what it is. Training wise,
would you see any tears through training and then have a full-on breakdown, and then but also pick themselves up and like go again?
The first time I remember getting hammered in training, we used to call it get a goose, not a thrashing. So somebody's fucked up, so everyone's fucked up, so you get smashed. I remember on Dartmoor, and this weather-worn nag came in, and you would wake the next person up to go on like sentry, maybe 15 minutes before you'd wake them up, so they had time to get out the dry gear, get back into the wet stuff, because you don't get into your sleeping bag with your wet stuff, because then you're just going to go down being cold, so you get into your dry stuff. This guy getting waken up, and Caribbean land, he just refused to get out, like, he was just lying there, and he was like just refusing to get out, and they were hammering, but he was just pissing us all, like, it was just one of them experiences. You just had to laugh, like you would cry, like.
Did he get out of his?
Nah, he just refused. Training team, there was about 4 training team, the sergeant, the boss, like, all screaming at him to get out. He was like, I ain't getting out of this.
And was that him done, or?
Oh, yeah, he was.
Yeah.
Does that not then make the punishment worse? They're going to dish out as well?
We were all in press-up position for about an hour, like, and you'd think, he's going to get up now because we're all getting smashed, but he was not getting out.
That's insane.
They're all there getting wet and cold, but I'm still in this.
Well, you see that on thing, don't you? SAS 2 days wins, where they're like, whoever's fucked up, they're like meant to stand and watch everyone else suffering, like a guilt trip thing.
A lot. I mean, on that program, a lot of the stuff that's on that program, it's more or less came from like certain marine training and stuff like that. Like quite a lot of it.
Does it give you the confidence though, that knowing that guy, he's not got out of his tent, right? And that's tough. That's hard. But when you do pass out and everything else, does it give you a really good amount of confidence that you know that when it's gonna get bad, none of these guys are gonna give up?
They never get. Them. You always get the question, what's the difference between the Marines and the Army? And you have that rivalry and that, but the difference is like the Marines, you don't get the dregs. There's no dregs. The Army after that, probably rejoin. That guy's not passing at the end of the day. And that's what it's all about. If you can't trust them in training, now you're going to trust them on like operations and stuff like that.
And does it give you, like, when you go into when we'll get onto that in a second, like we're in the middle of nowhere, like I've got these 20 lads around me, but I know that they have all done probably one of the toughest courses in the world. It's the hardest
basic military training in the world. 100%, of course it does.
And we'll paint that picture, right? So you've landed, so you deployed to Iraq, Afghanistan?
I was in Afghan, 2000.
So you flew in on a fucking C-130, wherever it is, got your bags, got your kit, you've stepped off a plane that is now, 35, 40 degree heat?
Yeah.
In Kandahar, I'm assuming, where did you...
went in the Bastion.
So Bastion, so you've got off there and you're then thinking, right, what's going through your head at that moment when you've stepped off that plane and you're thinking, can't wait, let's go? Honestly, like, how did you, when you stepped off there?
I think it was more nervy for other guys because they had families, like as in they had kids or they had partners and stuff.
Yeah.
And at the time, I didn't have my little boy. I wasn't with anybody. Obviously, I had my parents, my brother, but like I didn't have any like
responsibilities yourself.
Depending on me, so it never sort of flicked in my head.
And that could probably get folk overthinking who are in that situation right away.
Yeah, massively.
How old were you when you were?
I was 20 when I went out there.
So young, eh?
Because I had my 21st birthday, I flew back on me R&R, so you get like 2 weeks R&R in between your tour. And mine was right at the end, because obviously with your R&R and the 2 week gap you sort of break it between the group or whoever you with on that sort of deployment. And because I didn't have any dependents, I was like, I'll just take the last slot, like, because those guys wanting to get back for birthdays or christenings or whatever it may be, and I was like, I don't have anything to get back for, so I more or less did, I think it was probably about 5.5 months, and then I had my R&R, because I came back for 2 weeks and I flew back out there, and then it was done, my trip was done, and I more or less went right back.
I wonder if there's an element as well where you're saying there at the start, you thought you'd maybe be more nervous than you were. Like, maybe there's like just a switch, like an autopilot thing kicks in. Like all the training you've done.
It just became routine. It was just like, it was just work at the end of the day. Like, it was just the norm. Like, it was just, it was what I'd been trained to do for 3-4 years, like building up to it.
So landed in Bastion, and then where did you deploy out to in terms of
so specialisation wise, I was mortars as a spec, but
didn't think that you guys would like lob stuff in from distance.
So the way it worked, I mean, it's from just before I left, it was going more back to its roots of like working in small teams. Like that's what they wanted to go back to. But back previous to that, so when I was deployed in that, difference between the Marines and the Army, so if you want to go as an infantryman, you just want to be a soldier, carry the rifle, you join like an infantry regiment, so like your Duke of Lancaster or like 2 Scots regiments, stuff like that. If you wanted to specialise, say you wanted to be a vehicle mechanic, you were going to the REME, or if you wanted to be a driver, you go RLC. With the Marines, you pass your training and you'd be general duties, so you'd be a rifleman, but then you specialise within. So we were self-sufficient, so you didn't rely on other sort of regiments to come and help you out. So if the infantry regiments in the Army deployed and they needed like the signals, they would get the Royal Signals Corps to come in, or they'd get the Logistics Corps to come in. With the Marines, you're a soldier, but you sort of self-specialised. So I was a rifleman by passing out, but then I specialised in mortars. So I was a mortarman, working me up to being...
What is that for?
A mortarman, so it's basically dropping bombs, basically. And then you worked your way up, so you would start as a number 3, you go then 2 and a 1, so you'd have, on a set of mortar kit, you'd have your base plate, your barrel, your bipod, with your ammunition and everything. Your number 3 would sort the ammunition out, your number 2 would be the one that dropped it down the barrel to obviously fire it off, and your number 1 was the one that put all the information onto the site. And then after that, you go to being something called an ACPO, which was an assistant command post operator, which was the one that was commuting all the information that needed to put onto the sort of setup to get it to fire. And then the next level up, which is more or less where I finished up, was an MFC, so you had like a Bravo and an Alpha MFC, and you were the one that was sort of making all the adjustments, the map reading, to get the bombs from where you wanted it to land, basically. But when I deployed to Afghan, I was meant to be going as a mortarman, but our sort of area of operation, we didn't need 2 mortar lines because the other company's mortar line could cover the full area. So I just got put in as a rifleman, so I mostly patrolled.
You've got a bit of mix of all of it,
yeah? So I just did the patrolling, and it was quiet for quite large periods of it, up until, obviously, they mentioned to you, when I got blown up, like, it was out of the blue, just random. We've been going up and down this road for the last 3 months, and it was basically the boundary between our area and area of operations in the Americans, this road. So we were on one side, they were on the other, and there was literally our checkpoint road and American checkpoint across the road, and we've been going up and down it, like I said, for 3 months, and I think it was the Irish Guards that took over us. Their OC, their officer in command, had flew out to do sort of a recce on the area because they were taking over us. So we drove into this checkpoint up the road, which was another one of ours, and we drove back, but we'd went out twice in one day, and we never used to set patterns like that. And obviously it was an IED, it was a plugged in one, so I hadn't been plugged in when we'd been going up and down it for them 3 months. And I can just remember the driver just saying, a lad called Stevie P was me, he was the section commander for us, he was the section commander, sorry. Connor was the lad from Carl, he lived in Niobe, he was the driver, I was the top cover on the gun, and then we had that captain in the back, and the commander was like, literally, we've been coming down this road for the last 3 months, you want to take your seatbelt off and have a look around? And literally, as he said that, we went over it, and it was just a flash, like, it was just, and I can't really remember it, just bang, black, landing, and then, done the checks.
Yeah,
Any bloke would do, everything was still there.
You were sat on the...
I was sat
Would that be like the most vulnerable position? Not maybe for what you hit, but anyone like who was out, if there's any fucking snipers or anything looking around.
Yeah, if there's a sniper looking out, because you're the one that's most exposed, you're on the top. But I can remember when we were doing that, so when you went to Bastion, you do like a week, I can't remember what you call it, but a week where you would do like your acclimatisation and you sort of bedding in before you deployed to wherever you were going. Sat in this top cover, and an army guy saying it was like, the way it was set up was you'd be sitting on a seat like this, and you'd have like your gun mount there, and I mean, I was manning this gun, but that's an anti-tank weapon. Like, it comes under an anti-tank specialisation, so me being mortars, that shouldn't have been me using it, but because nobody else in my checkpoint could use it, and I'd been training, I ended up using it. But I can remember being, like I said, back on Bastion and doing the pre-deployment training and sat on one, and army guy saying it was like, I wouldn't sit like that. He says one of our guys was sat like that, and when they got blown up, it flung him back, and like, it brought him back down, and like, he had completely fucked his face. So he showed me to sit on it. He's sitting it like on top like that, because if you get blown up, it'll just fire out of it. And I was sat on it like that,
man.
And it just fucking, because obviously I was on top, and it went off on the front drive, and it just threw me.
Is that just the pressure just sends you
pure
out?
Pressure, and I must have went about 10-15 metres up in the end of the ditch, a muddy ditch, and I literally didn't have a fucking scratch.
And that's what we said at the start, is like, we'll end up chatting here and we absolutely no idea where it's going. So what was the vehicle that you were in?
It's a Jackal, so it's an armoured Jackal. So it was
they're only the smaller ones, weren't they?
Smaller one. Yeah. It's armoured, but it's not enclosed in, it's like open. I'm trying to think of it like as a military large go-kart, like armoured go-kart, if you want to...
What was the big one called that they used? The
cages on the outside. Yeah. They were the Mastiffs.
Yeah.
So they had like, you were inside them and they'd have like the cages on the outside, but they were prone for what they would try to do with them vehicles, is they'd try and blow them up when they were going across like sort of bridges or irrigation ditches with water, and they'd try and get them to flip them in, because lads were drowning in them, because the armour was crushing on, and then they'd just drown inside them. Yeah, that was the one where you used a Jackal. And
you've been blown up. That's the only way to describe it, I suppose. So you've kind of, like you say, you've got up, you've done your checks, the ears are ringing, dust's flying around. Do you remember like an immediate thought, like, are you check? Is it like training kicks in, I need to go and check on anyone else?
With the job I do now, and I teach sort of, the training job I do now, I teach like SIA licence, and you go through all this like the fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
And now obviously, in an experience like that, your adrenaline's pumping, your heart rate's obviously raised, and if your thing zones in, and it was like that, it was just like, if you think, I was taking everything in, it was like time had been slowed down, like I was taking the time had all slowed, and I was taking it in a lot more, and it was a lot more clearer, people shouting about, but...
You were getting fired up, weren't you, as well?
There was pop shots going off, yeah.
Do you think at that second, shit, somebody's shooting at me, is that even in your head, or are you...
To be fair, I can remember coming out the ditch, and we had like a Navy medic that was sort of dealing with Connor, sort of helped her with that. Went round the actual commander, because the explosion was that big, he'd been ripped out of his seatbelt had come completely off, and he'd sort of projected out of the thing, but he had the GPMG like machine gun that was in front of him, and that had been ripped off the mountain, that had landed on top of him. I think he got discharged with hip problems due to that. So once it had all been sorted, because there was only a checkpoint, maybe quarter of a mile, half a mile up the road from there.
Which was the American one?
No, so it was another one of our checkpoints on the same side of the road. That American one, I think it had got built just after this. They got bugged out, so by the time they got there, it was sort of all dealt with. But the only thing I can remember is you had like a sat phone out there, and you get like a Paradigm card, because obviously you can't take your mobile phone or anything, it all gets taken off you before you deploy. And you get like half an hour on it a week. And I used to call my mum, my dad, my brother and my granddad, and I'd use maybe 10 minutes a week, so I'd used to give them minutes away. And I can remember ringing my dad 17 hours after it, I was still on that sort of wagon, and Connor the lad, before I'd left that scene, he was back in Birmingham Hospital. in intensive care. Yeah, that's how quick like the extractions and that are for anybody that's injured. So obviously we dealt with that. The helicopter came in, extracted him, but we were there for about another 15, 17 hours because we couldn't just leave this vehicle there because it had radio equipment and that, and so we had like calling it off and wait for. I think the EOD came to check for any more devices, and then it got towed away.
And then is it literally just like next day back to your job?
Next day back on patrol, yeah.
That's the difference, isn't it? Like
next day, like you get like a trim, so you get trimmed immediately after it. So like they'll talk to you, and then you get like a 6 month and a yearly one, just to make sure.
Who's talking to you? Who is the?
I think it was one of the sergeant majors. It was anybody who was trim trained at the time.
Alright, so moving on, all the skills and that you'll have learned in your military training, quite regimented in that. Would you say there's any specific skills you've learned whilst training in the military that have passed over into now how you live your life, like civilian life, if you want to call it?
I would say I've noticed that whenever you're coaching after you train, like all your kit's like folded up on the bench.
Just answered it for us.
Yeah.
Fucking
just need to tell everyone else who would say.
These lot came up, it drives us nuts. The guy in and there's fucking pens in different orders. He's got his pair of shoes in that corner, a t-shirt in that corner. That guy in, I start folding stuff up. So it's the routine, like the OC routine sort of thing. I mean, the job I do now, when I left, I needed a routine. I need routine, like, and you're well aware of it. And you know when I come in sometimes when I've out my routine, because I won't even speak you in the desk. You'll see us and they'll be like, "I'll just say it's one of them days." And I'll go in and train. I won't even fucking speak to anybody.
It's up you, but one of them days.
I'll just one of them days, and I have to go and train. It is the routine's probably the main thing that's transferred across.
Yeah.
And obviously, you get taught that in training. Like you're up, you train, and you're doing this, you're doing that. You get told where you're going, what you're doing, how long you're going to be doing it for. And yeah, when I came out, I needed that routine, and I had a few job interviews in, applications in, and I got the one that I'm doing now, and it is Monday to Friday, and I know that I can train in the mornings if I need to, or I've been jumping on the classes of a night. I'm at work, I'm training in the evening. I've got my weekends off. I've got my Lyle fella on a Tuesday. I've got him every other weekend. So it's all regimented. Like even though I've left, I'm still living like a regimented life.
And you need that organisation in order for you to stay in the lane that you need to be.
I mean, shifts. I got offered shift job. I don't think I could do them like shifts. I've done it where I'm at now. I've worked a couple of nights there, and I didn't have to go in till say 1 o'clock the next day. But I'm awake by 6:30, so I'm just fucking sat there like, what am I meant to do here? What am I meant to do? Like, I need that routine.
Well, we've just had, like, and it's slightly off topic, like, we've just had one of our members, James, he's just retired, and I think even now you can see him when he's speaking a little bit, he's like, what's my day? He went on an 8-mile walk yesterday, just because he felt like he's like, I need to put, like, the time in my day. And I think anyone who, like, changes job or changes lifestyle, that routine that you've been used to for so long, and then it changes a little bit, or it changes a lot, it's
like my dad. My dad's retired recently, and he's the same. Like he needs a hobby. Like
it changed my dad massively. Like, when he retired, like because he went from, fucking impressed me really. Like 5 o'clock every day, I'd be half awake, like the wind's like driving into the window and the rain, and he'd be in his cycling kit, and I'm like, he's going on his fucking bike at 5 in the morning to cycle to Sellafield in like that. But it was like. That was his routine. That was what got him out exercising, was bike to work in the morning, bike to work in the evening. And I think when he finished work, I think he struggled with it a little bit in terms of that adjustment to having structure every day to what the hell am I filling my day with?
I haven't fully adjusted yet. Like
so you would say that you're still not.
I'm not. I don't think I'm 100% adjusted. Like. I mean, it's helped with being with Penny because she's like massively routine as well, and it's like we just bounce off each other. Yeah. But I would say the first 6 months was like my honeymoon period when I left. I was like happy with the new routine and that, and I would say maybe September last year up until sort of the end of the year, start of this year, I did miss it a little bit.
And how long have you been out for?
I left. It was September 2024. So.
Oh, so you'd been in a while then, yeah. A year and a half, 2 years.
Coming up. It'll be 2 years in September, won't it? I mean, if I officially left in November, but I got an early release because I managed to get a job. So that proof of the job acceptance, they let me leave early, like. And
did you want to leave? Did you know it was time when you were like, I need to get out now? Like I've done my.
To be honest, I reckon I probably held on about 5 years longer than I should have, like, with all the mental health stuff that was going on. I kept staying in, and then it got to the point, I'd say, and then I went down on that course. I thought I needed a specialisation change, so I moved from motors, and I managed to get a telecommunications technician, basically electrician, like a military electrician course. But that wasn't an army base, and it was meant to be a year-long course, and you get put up in the house. Well, I got put up in the house, and he was younging me on it, and I got down there. I was there for 3 days, and my head started going again, and I could just feel the wobble coming on, and I was like, nah, I need to leave, like, I need out. I was missing being like the routine back here, the training and everything, the routine living back home.
So that'll be was that when you were coming up? You were sort of probably halfway house where you were trying, you weren't sure if you were going to get released or not, and then you were coming up here and you were kind of alright when you were doing a fucking 24-hour Scorefell AMRAP, or
that's when I was at my happiest, like,
or Everest on the Stairmaster,
no, like,
or something.
I mean, that all, we'll come into that if you want to come into that one.
Yeah, so
Me and you both did a lot of challenges together. Can you remember the first one we done and why we did it?
It all stemmed. I can remember ringing you. I rang you on the Monday, didn't I? So obviously they're aware of the mental health sort of issues I've had. I'd split with my ex-partner, not who I've got my little boy to, the one I was seeing after that. I'd split with her. I drove back home. Probably shouldn't have drove back home.
from where?
Down in Cambridgeshire.
So a good stint of a drive, 5-6 hour drive, yeah.
And I just had enough, like. I pulled into the side of a service station. I went into the service station, bought probably about 78 tablets, I think it was, equivalent to 78 tablets, and I just took them. I was fucking...
What, just there in the car park?
In the car park, bought the tablets, pulled in, and took them. And it was the second time I'd sort of went down that route. And I realised about an hour later, I was like, what the fuck am I doing here? So I obviously tried to spew it up, got parts of it up, got back home, told my mum and dad, and then...
So drove back up to Cumbria?
Got back to Cumbria, told my mum and dad, and I ended up in Whitehaven Hospital, and this was the Friday, and I was in the hospital Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I think I got out late Sunday night. I'd been on a drip. I basically got there spewing. The doctor done the tests on us, and more or less said it was my liver was starting to shut down, like, because of the amount I took. And they need to sort of balance me levels out, so they put me back on the drip. And then I was in hospital till Sunday night, and I got out on the Monday, and I went to Man Club on the Monday, and I wasn't a facilitator at the time. I was just a user down there, and I went down there, and it's the only session I've been down where I just fucking cried for 2 hours, like. And obviously Steve's daughter goes to the classes, like, fucking he comes behind you and gives you like the fucking whacks you like that rugby sound, and he had a crack with us. And
do you think that is and again, well, I think this is where we wanted to get into in this, but do you think that is a military thing, which is and a bloke thing, which is, you know, I'm gonna, like, his thing there was maybe I'm gonna hide my emotional vulnerability by the big pat on the back, loud, you know, Jack the lad, whereas really probably what he wants is like, you know, a softer hand on the shoulder and like, are you actually all right? Like, and that's his way of handling that. And maybe yours is maybe a little bit of, I am going to do the most fucking mental.
Well, that's where it came from. I mean, it was that Monday night, and I'd say I cried for 2 hours, and can't remember the guy's name, but it was, obviously we don't mention names, not down there, but it was a guy that was being an alcoholic for, he'd been a heroin addict, drug addict for his entire life. And he said to us, he was like, why didn't you do that Goggins thingy challenge?
4x4.
4x4. And I went, I've already done it, like, I done it a few years ago. And he's like, well, fucking do it for 3 days then. Like, I was like, fucking,
72 hours.
Fuck it, I will. And I literally got out of Man Club at 8:30 and I rang you and I told you what had happened. And I said, I'm going to do that Goggins thing. And he was like, are you going to do a couple of weeks? And I was like, nah, I'm just fucking doing it tomorrow. And it was the Monday after coming off the drip all weekend. And I did. I stayed in, it was one of the rooms down there, wasn't it?
I think it's a big pausing room now.
Pausing room, aye. And I stayed in there for 3 days.
A lot of bed in there.
And obviously, you jumped in a few.
Well, this is it. And from the outside a while, it was like, these guys are doing some like insane challenge again. But actually, once you strip back from the outside of what it is.
It was just it was my coping mechanism.
But also people like your community coming in with you and supporting you and being like, right, well, if that's what you need to do right now as your therapy, like, well, we'll do it with you. Because from the outside, I would watch it and be like, why are they running 20 mile with a med ball or whatever it was? Do you know what I mean? I didn't understand it, but obviously I didn't understand it because I didn't know the story behind it. Yeah.
And it just escalated for 6 months, didn't it? It was that, then it was, I think the one after that was I did a bleep test every hour for 24 hours and I stayed on that sofa in the fucking hallway.
Done the dips as well?
Done the dips, I stayed down the river for, you came down, didn't you? I stayed down the river for 24 hours and I got in and did a 5-minute dip every 2 hours. I did it. It was when the open workouts came out last year, wasn't it? And there was the first one was the snatches with the burpees over when it was 20
Yeah.
And then the one after came out, I'm sure it was something like so many deadlifts, so many double unders, somewhere else. And I did that dip and then I came straight up here and I did that workout after it.
During the dip challenge?
After it, right after the end of it. Because I remember messaging Rachel Fee and that, because obviously I'd seen the CrossFit stuff and I was like, what was the thingy time down there? Because I was trying to do a compare time thing. And then there was that one, and then we done what I can't remember what we did the 4 IROXs on the bounce, didn't we?
We've done a double IROX with wearing a vest.
And then we done 4 in a row.
We've done 4 IROXs.
4 IROXs in a row.
Yeah.
And then there was obviously the AMRAP up Scorfell.
You done
so 9, was it 9?
Everest on the Stairmaster.
And then this Everest on the Stairmaster that took 10 hours.
With a vest on?
With a vest on, otherwise it wouldn't have counted.
No, I was going to do it just open fucking career. I came in there, was like, you have to do it with the vest on.
Doesn't count.
Yeah, it just escalated for 6, 7 months, 9 months.
We had a little table next to the Stairmaster with like bananas and sweets on.
I was just on there for fucking the full day, and it was every month I was doing one.
Oh, well, you done even before this, you done the Bob Graham solo, didn't you, in winter?
That was
when we were doing Murph versus Goggins. Yeah. We done a Murph workout.
Because we got that picture by the ring.
You just did it for 48 hours, didn't you? Because you're doing it for charity, and I said 24 hours. I said, well, I've always wanted to do the Bob. And I did the Bob, but I think I started it 24 hours in when you were doing that, so we sort of finished at the same time. So it was 23 hours 37, but I didn't have, the only help I had was at the 4 checkpoints getting me food, and I just did it on my own. It was in the winter.
Med ball marathon as well.
Med ball marathon at All Park, yeah. And that was a decent, yeah.
This for you, I always think there's points in your life where you're just trying to get to the next week or the next month, and I literally had this crack. I had a PT before, and that person, I won't name any names, they're going through a bit of a tough run of things, just personal stuff going on. And what we were trying to say there was, nobody's going to go through life having it easy. Everyone at some point will hit something in life, adversity or whatever it is, and it will challenge them. And if you have never been able to lean into hard times, or do hard things, or be uncomfortable, you have gonna absolutely have no idea how to handle that situation. And for you, your go-to place was like, well, you know, I'm going through a bit of a tough spell, so I'm gonna really dive into what I know and what I know that my body can do and where I can put my mind and I can challenge myself there. And that was your way of coping with them things. And I think that's what more people need, is when life does get hard for them, is they need make the body more robust, make the mind more robust, and the obvious way to do that is fitness, health, exercise.
Oh, definitely.
And is that where you went with that? I need to get through this really tough time in my life. This is what I know, which is I'm comfortable in this place, these people, being in this building, and I'm going to really use that as my therapy, as my means to get to the next point in my life that I need to get to.
I had the man club on Monday nights. I was often sick with the Marines, and I think I got 2 for like 6-week blocks, so I had 6 weeks off and then I go back down, and my head just kept going when I went down there, and I got sent back, and it was like I was doing these challenges and that, and then it was like kind of blocking out the fact that I was going back down there, because I like you say, I had that good of a routine, and from leaving school at 16 I'd never been part of anything back home. Like my coming home was Christmas time, because I used to go to Thailand when I was in all the time. I used to go to Noida all the time when I was in.
There'll be some tales to tell about Thailand, is there?
Do you mean?
We'll have to put that behind a paywall, I think. That's where that one will have to go.
No,
Subscribe.
I did. I used to just go on holiday all the time. I only used to come home at Christmas, and then it was when COVID happened, and I started training here, and I was back home more because I was on a recruitment team at the time. And then, yeah, when I had that big block of time off, and then obviously we became really good mates. And
I'm trying to even think how we first even started having a crack in that,
Well, I hope he took his fucking respirator off for one, like.
just I don't know. I can't even. I think it was probably.
It just seemed to just happen,
It just clicked.
Doesn't it though? Like that's, I find that's the most strange thing about being in, like, and any sports team or anything is like, I always say to the guys in here, when somebody joins, all it takes is 10, 15 burpees before you say something to the person next to you, and then before you know it, like some of the guys, and I can only speak for that side. Some of the best friends that they have are the ones that they go to the gym with now, and they're the ones that they spend the time with and everything else. And it's weird how a relationship can start a conversation.
It's like your classes, like when you first came up.
Everyone was quiet, nobody really mingled. And
I'd never met any. I knew people and that, but I never started going. And now it's like
it's all the same crack, innit? Yeah.
I think it's that like similar mindsets, jumping on the similar things, and then like all in it together.
Working hard, yeah. Misery loves company. Yeah, there's a lot to be said for that. Yeah. So how do you remember what the first conversation was?
No,
or
I don't know if it was uppies and downies or.
It probably will have been.
I knew.
You must have knew each other through that.
No, I can remember the first time I came up here. I was looking for a gym to trainer because I was back home more. My ex was. You were actually training her, weren't you?
Yes, I was PT in it. Yeah.
You were PT in it, and she mentioned.
That's how I first spoke to you.
Yeah, and I came up here, and it was like you said, it was them old pictures where it was the old green track, the boxing ring. There was nothing in there.
Carpet.
I think maybe one of our first cracks was about like maybe Cheryl saying about like you potentially taking like a boot camp
class, and that's where they probably did.
You obviously in the Marines, and it would be ideal for taking a boot camp.
Yeah, we started taking the boot camps on Saturday, and then obviously we taking the classes. We started becoming mates, and it was uppies and downies. We started going uppies and downies, and obviously it just escalated from there, didn't it?
And then it was probably around the time we started doing like the mad challenges and stuff. So
yeah,
it's probably like interest there, shared interest.
Doing stuff
on the Man's Club. I think again, it's still one of those things where people are using it, but could it be used more? Like, you know, are there still people who aren't willing to take themselves into that door? I think a really hard thing for men to be is vulnerable.
For a man to do is admit that they've got a problem. And it's like still always meant it's a stigma in it, and it's rife where we live. I mean, you got to think we're isolated. We're just the corner of the northwest. And it's very isolated, and you've literally got the side down the road and the lakes, and then that's pretty much it. Mental health is right for you, and I think they've gone back 20, 30 years ago, it was all steelworks and further than that, steelworks, and you had the mines and everything, and it was like men went to work, they didn't have problems.
They go to the pub.
And go to the pub, and they did have problems. They just that was their coping mechanism. They wouldn't tell anybody. They just go to the pub at dinner for 2-3 hours, go back to work, then they go to the pub every night. Yeah.
And if you look at that now, you know that somebody does that. That's like, well, that's not healthy.
It's
like
not healthy. You notice it now. Yeah. And it is. I mean, Monday nights down there, we have a range of people coming down. You'll have people like myself. You'll have people that have struggled with addiction. You'll have bosses on site going down. It's like a massive variety of people that'll go down. And I mean, I openly said, like, that first session I went to down there, it was Mark that actually got me to go down. I can remember we were having a chat by the ring, and he mentioned me going down, and that first half an hour in the first session, I got more out of it than sort of what the Marines provided me in 2 years. Like, it was just sat in a room talking to blokes that were just getting shit off.
I remember when Ricky Hatton said, I've been in a boxing ring, I know I'm brave, I know I'm tough, and all these things, and he said the hardest thing that he ever had to do was like open up to a room full of people saying that, and he said that was the only thing that I thought that was genuinely fearful of, and that was the courage that he needed to do that. And I think that's one of those things there, which is the courage to walk through that door and go into a room with another group of guys who are all struggling, being like, one, I'm going to have to put myself here and admit that I'm struggling, but also I don't know these people, I'm going to have to open up to that. Is there a like a tie-in thing that keeps that, like, that makes that work? How does that work in terms of that room full of strangers all coming together? And
I mean, I can remember we've had a guy come down, and he came down for maybe 8 weeks in a row, and he hadn't spoke. He just sat there for 8 weeks.
Working up the courage, or?
I mean, yeah, working up the courage. I mean, the first, I can remember seeing his car outside this was when we were at, this will have been when we were still at Reds ground, because obviously we moved locations.
From the run as well, didn't we?
Oh yeah, we did. The man club ran around all the clubs, didn't we?
Yeah, we ran from Whitehaven and his man club to Maryport to Cockermouth,
and then
back to working. That was like 30 odd mile, wasn't it?
38 mile, I think it was.
I was just about to say, literally there, I was just about to say we should maybe do that again right up until the point where you said it's 38 miles and you fucking lost me.
I remember
I'll drive it.
I remember seeing him with his hips a few weeks afterwards. I was like, no, I won't do that again.
Well,
I think what you should do is you lot should do that again.
Run back, it was Cockermouth that got you, wasn't it? That
we'll drive it.
You will be
from Maryport to Cockermouth.
It slowed right down, but going back to that guy, he'd been sat outside for 4 or 5 weeks and he hadn't even got out his car and then just drove off, like sitting outside there waiting.
Getting close, getting out, fucking hell.
And I said, I'll give it you one more week, and then I think it was the 3rd or 4th week or whatever it was, he was outside and I just tapped on his window and he put his window down. I was like, mate, you alright, mate? I had a crap with him and I was like, look, you don't have to say anything, you don't have to fucking speak. He says, I'll walk in with you, I'll make you a cuppa, you can sit on a chair on your own. He says, just be me and you, it'll start, you don't even have to speak. And he did, he came in, a few facilitators spoke to him, shook his hand.
Do you know what, Hewey, and sorry to interrupt, but you probably, and maybe you will, you maybe won't, but you won't realise that he'll never forget that.
No, and what we do that night, it's fucking marvellous, like. And
you might have saved his life there, that he might have been that close to being that person. He's like, that person knocked on my door, didn't know him, might never meet him again, but he saved my life.
And he did, he sat down for about 5 weeks and he didn't speak, and then it was just 1 week, he just opened up, and then he fucking doesn't shut up now. He still goes down, like.
He needs it, that's his outlet.
And I can remember him saying his problems, and he was next, he was alcoholic, and he drank like something like fucking 12 cans every day for 15 years or something like that. And he every week he came, he's like, I'm down to 15 cans now, I'm down to 10 cans, I'm down to 9 cans. And he had a massive jump from like 9 to 2, and then he had to go back up to 6. And then I hadn't been for a while, and then I went down, and all of a sudden it was like, I haven't had a drink in 4 weeks. Just completely different fucking bloke, like.
You know, that's the win. That's the victory, isn't it? It might fail more than it works, but you can't be put off by that. You've got to be. You're just looking for that one person that, the guy's probably changed his life, saved his life. So I remember you saying the guy in here who lost like an unreal amount of weight, slightly different topic, but then got himself a job on site, and from one thing it changed his life. Just that one thing that snowballed into there, and you don't realise how many people it actually impacts, and how many people won't seek help in it. I mean, I PT a lot, and I think you'll see it maybe when you're coaching, but mental health and exercise sit right by each other, and they maybe shouldn't, but they do.
Mental health needs physical support.
I say down there all the time, like, we're not there to give advice, we're just there to listen. But advice does come out like time
but
again.
it's maybe not advice in terms of this is what you need to do. It's maybe a shared experience of like, well, you know, this is
what helped me. Blah, blah, blah.
And I'll still get messages now of people who, but very much aware that if you weren't there as that support and role, and you're not like, I'm lucky that I've got a degree in psychology, like a side degree in psychology, so I'm probably a little bit.
Did not know that.
Yeah, I've got a degree in sports science and a degree in psychology. Fucking, how did that happen? So I'm maybe a little bit more on that chain. So, but even there, it's like how you deal with people and how you speak to them, but they're not maybe really interested in that. They're more just, they want to know that they're being listened to, don't they? Venting.
I notice it a lot more now, especially with going down there. And I mean, I'll get random Marines messaging us like out of the blue, like, and they'll just be asked. They'll ask the question, the random question, and I know it's like
a leading question, or
they're wanting like helping away. And I'll just say, good mate, like, what you been up there and that, and they reply back, and they're just wanting to be by some young, like. I mean, it's not solved. It'll never be a solved sort of thing. Mental health. It's always going to happen. It's always going to sort of be there.
Yeah.
It's just spreading the awareness more. I mean, it is bad in the military. I think I've probably been to 5 or 6 funerals from lads that have sort of took their own lives, and then the last one was not Christmas this year, the Christmas before, and it's just you just see it happening and happening again. And I think with the forces, and especially with blokes, it's seen as not a manly thing to speak
how do I outlet it? How do I process it? Or how do I deal with it? Yeah.
It's almost like a pressure to keep it bottled in, Like
it's the fucking worst thing you can do. Like you're saying, like I did it, and it resulted in what happened to me. But like I'll never bottle it in now.
But also as well, do you think, I mean, we've all been through things. I think I've got an unbelievable family. Like my mum, like is my hero. Like she will do anything for anyone. I'm really lucky. I've got a twin, so if ever I hit a really hard point in my life, I know that my mum's got things covered for my life. But I've got a brother that I could just pick up the phone. It doesn't matter what he's doing. He'll be like, "I'll speak to you." And it's like some people don't have that either, and that's maybe where like that Andy Man's Club and things come in. I haven't got anyone that I can pick up the phone to, or any like literally like immediate support or friendship or.
I mean, with the family side of things, I know when I left, my mum and dad are fucking awesome. My brother's awesome, but when I left, it was more or less I'd been away for 18 years, and my brother had lived at home. This is going to Christmas 2024. My brother went to Japan for a year. And I was back home, so it was like one's been away, one's been home, and it's swapped. And before I'd met Penny, like I know my mum and dad were panicking, like fuck, with me being at home, living in an house on my own, like with all the stuff that had went on, like what's going to be keeping occupied. And then obviously I met Penny, and she's been fucking awesome. Like I've always said to her a few times, like I don't know where I would have been last year if I hadn't met her. Like,
how did you meet?
How do we meet? Yeah. And then at PDIs, told us to get on Hinge. And he was like, fucking cockney lad, and he's like, have you got any photos in your combats? I was like, no, I haven't got any. He says, get a fucking photo in your combats and stick it on. And I did, I stuck it on. And straight away, liked. And then
like fish in a barrel, eh?
She just came up, like, I think I replied to her, where you been hiding? And then she's just written something back about the combats. And then, I think I met up with her a couple of weeks later, and then it just escalated from there, like.
How long have you been together now?
Well, it was... We met in end of July 2024. I think we'd been speaking to each other for a couple of weeks. We met up a couple of times, and then when I left in the middle of August, I had like 2 or 3 weeks where I had leave to take before I started on down the road, and I just said to her, she's going to go on holiday.
And was she, because obviously she's done like competition.
And she competed last year.
Was she involved in that then when you met her? Because obviously I'm just thinking there.
No, she's had her own issues and stuff that went on with her. And
do you share that? Do you talk about that together?
Oh yeah, I've talked about everything, and that's why it works. Like it was just 2 jigsaw pieces that connected, like, and it worked out. And it was January last year. She needed something to aim for, and she'd always wanted to do shows, and she'd never been able to do it. And she says her mates find it weird that like I'll stick a photos and that on, and like sticking photos.
Which I think actually, like, I know, right, sometimes like she'll put a picture on, you're like, that arse is mine or whatever, but also like you're sharing it, and it's like fair play, like you're like, that's probably the support that she's wants and needs.
Like I'm happily fucking and she said she'd wanted to do it, always wanted to do a show, and I was like, fucking do it, you want to do it, there's no stopping you doing it. And then obviously she trained for that last year. And
so by you sharing like her stuff as well, are you just trying to give her the confidence of like, I'm 100% behind you, like
100%,
yeah.
Like, I mean, everything she does for me, like, it probably comes across that I'm a lazy bastard with half the stories, because it's just, she's doing all the meal prepping and everything, but like, she was doing it all because she knew what she was measuring out for all the shows and that, and I just went along with it. And even if they're running around, she does everything. And obviously, me and my little boy with it all the time when I've got him on the weekends and that. And
it's something that I'll say to clients though, which is if you haven't got your family in it, so like if I've got somebody who's like, I want to lose 15, 20 kilos of weight, like I've got a client at the minute, so his whole family run it now, so they all, because sometimes it sounds really bad, but if you start bettering yourself, and you've got
grow together, grow apart.
Which you said, and sometimes what can happen is if there's somebody who's maybe not doing that, they won't. It's like it's an unconscious thing as well, but they'll sabotage it. It might be a comment, or it might be like, oh, I'm going to have this tonight, and it's like it only really works if whoever you're with, you're in it together, or at least they understand it.
I honestly agree. The person I am now is in with the fitness and everything, and how my routine is. This is who I was meant to be. Is in. I'm fitter now and healthier than I ever was when I was in the Marines. Like my recovery is obviously not as fucking fast, but the fitness wise, I'm a hell of a lot fitter. I'm the fittest I've ever been at 36. like I was saying before, I'm 79, 80 kilo, borderline that now. Like, just before sort of doing them challenges, I was like 103 kilo. Like, I used to train, but it was just to train the sake of training, whereas it's...
Well, were you training almost be like, then I'm going to go home and have maybe 6 or 7 pints, or whatever, you know what I mean?
My drinking was bad at one point.
kebab.
Yeah, 3-day kebab.
It's delicious.
Great kebab, aye.
And if, say you were like that much heavier in the Marines, and obviously there'll be times where you're carrying like ridiculous amounts of weight running and that, how would you feel in the training? Would you feel... Because obviously you've got to be fit to do some of that. Would you feel fit, fine, or would you feel like this is a fucking slog? This like
I'd hang out at points. I mean, I can remember doing a BFT, which was the 1.5 miles, and this was when I was at my heaviest, and I hadn't training. I was just being born, and I went down there, and I'd been poorly, no excuse, and I failed it. Like I failed the 1.5 miles.
What, do you have a time limit?
Yeah, it was 10.5 minutes, and I came in at 11 minutes. Like I could fucking run that backwards now. Like I just failed it, and I did. I let myself go, and I think with all the stuff that was going on with me mental health and everything, and it just deteriorated over time. I mean, when I went through the mental health stuff, they work it back, don't they? So they'll go off to the most recent event and I spoke to a psychiatrist, and they try to work it all back to see where it all stemmed from. And obviously, there was the drinking, and then obviously the breakup, and then there was losing my granddad. I mean, I grew up with my granddad. Like I moved in with him when I was like 10-year-old, and I lost him when I was on the course, so I never got to say goodbye to him. And then obviously there was a blood clot in my brain, and then there was stuff happened to me as a kid.
You got blew up.
I got blown up.
Yeah.
Like instantly, everyone thinks it's the blown up thing that's the stem of it, and it isn't. Like that's not even the main fucking thing. There's stuff that happened when I was a child that I don't want to go into. Like, and I've opened up with Man Club lot, and I'll open up with them. And that's where the root cause started, and it just escalated. And they said it was just like a firework inside you, and it's been burning all your life, and it's just got to that breaking point, like. But it was more of a cry for help when it happened with me. Like it was like it happened. Like when I rang you and I said I was going to do that first, it was like fucking weight had been lifted off my shoulders. Like it was out there then.
Like someone else knew
about it. It wasn't bottled up.
And also, would you maybe say that was you'd known that you'd hit the bottom?
Yeah. You've got to hit bottom
to get to then start making back out.
100%, and that was my rock bottom. Like,
which is what you keep saying now. So again, this may be like not that psychology thing, but you keep saying when I had my mental health. We know that it's never the door's closed. It's always with us. It's how we navigate it and how we deal with it.
I still have blips, like.
Which is normal. It's normal, and that's the other thing, right? It's not like, and I was trying to tell people, like, you're not going backwards. Every once in a while you'll have a bad day, like you can't do anything about it, like you just, and sometimes it's like just get to the next day then, because it's not going to be the bad week or the bad month, it's just a bad day, and then I mean, now it's like when I take the courses that I take, and I'll have a crap with them, and I'm like, them situations I've been in, that wouldn't stress me out now. It's like the little things that, like, if my routine gets shot, if like I think I'm going to work, I'm doing this day, and I get there and like something stopped us from doing it, and he's pushed everything right by half an hour, and then I'm not going to get to a class. That's what fucking pisses me off. Like, that's my routine getting shot. That's tism as well. That is that. Yeah, that's what that is. Like, like, they can't be late for anything. It's like,
I haven't fucking been late. I'm never late for a class.
No, you're not. No.
Always on time, mate. Never miss a class.
Do you think going through your mental health and your challenges and everything else, not that it's maybe made you a better person, but let's go with that. Do you think you're better for it? You're a better person for it? It's made you a better person, made you more empathetic, more aware. Like, what's the win from it, I suppose? Because I think like that's another thing that people want. If you've gone through like real mental health challenges, any challenges, what have you learnt from it? What has made you better for that experience?
I think it's more or less just the place I'm in now. I mean, I got that car the other month, didn't I? I got that new car, and I put on there, I was like, I didn't feel like I deserved it, and the amount of people messaging us, mainly from here.
I think I messaged you saying you fucking deserved it,
Loads of people messaging saying, like, you work hard, you deserve it, and it just made us think back, like, you know what, fucking, to get to rock bottom, to get to where I am now, I do deserve them things, like, I do work hard, like, I'm on the go fucking Monday to Friday, I'm on the go 24/7. Just in a complete better place.
Are you less harsh on yourself? Do you know what I mean? So one of the big things that I try and tell myself, and I'm big on myself now, or try and remind clients of, is like, give you every now and again, if you've done something harder, you've done, like, give yourself, like, even if it's just a mental pat on the back, like, well done, like, you've done that.
That's probably something I need to work on. Penny always says it to me. She always
like positive self-talk.
You're too harsh on yourself, like, really too harsh on yourself. Like, you're trying your best at the end of the day. And it is something that I need to work on.
Because you'll do it to everyone in there, you'll be like, well done, good effort, blah, but we never, for some reason, we don't do it to ourselves. It's like, you know, fucking fair play, you had a crack at that.
I mean, like, I've opened, like, Man Club, this spot, they did, like, they're on par, this gym and Man Club's on par with saving my life, like, and there may be one, like, down there, but this spot more so, like, I'd be fucked without it, like, I wouldn't be able to function without it.
We've had a few of them chats at reception, haven't we? The responsibility sometimes as a gym owner of knowing that it's not just how somebody physically maybe looks, but also the fact that they can go into somewhere and they get an hour to not be the mum, the dad, the brother, the sister, the problems that they've got, and they can go in and
switch off,
and even just have a conversation. If they've been at home all day or whatever, it's like have a conversation with somebody else, and just that hour of a day and having some endorphins released into your body can genuinely, and it's not the cure, like we always try and tell people, like, using the gym is never going to be it's not the fix, but it might be the therapy that somebody needs. It's got therapeutic qualities that'll get somebody through that and navigate that really tough part of life, and get them on the right path, which is lean into healthier habits rather than I'm going to go home and I'm going to drink to cope. I'm going to do a fucking 15-mile run, but at least it's a positive outcome to it. Yeah.
I've got an addictive personality, but it's good addictions. Like, I'm addicted to doing good shit now, rather than, like you're saying, drinking, stuff like that. Like, I'm addicted to the training. I'm addicted to positive stuff. So
just channeled it elsewhere, haven't you?
Channeled it to a different direction. Yeah.
I think as well, there's been many a time people have come into the gym and maybe got a lot to get off their chest, and they've stood at the desk and talked to us and told them problems, haven't they, like, confidentially, and they maybe stood there for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and then they've said, well,
been in an hour, haven't they?
Aye. And then they've maybe gone and they haven't even ended up training, and they've felt miles better for it, but they've just, like, I think that's one good thing about you saying about the gym there. People, there's a lot of good people here, isn't there?
Yeah,
like, people do speak to each other a lot, and, like, they've made good friends with you.
I went through a stage about a year and a half ago where I had people messaging us, my mate's struggling such and such, can you have a crack with them? And obviously the same with the Man Club, we're not, no one's professional down there, like, no one's a mental health worker or anything, it's just
authentic though.
Authentic, but it went through a stage where it was quite a few women, like, and I met her with, and it was just having a crack, and I remember meeting up with I won't mention who she was, meeting up with a girl at Starbucks, and it was a friend that I used to know that got in touch with us saying she was struggling, he was drinking and that, could you have a crack with her? And I met up with Starbucks, and she literally came in, I could see straight away, and I just did that, and she'd give us a hug, and she fucking cried in my shoulder for about 3 minutes, and I had a crack with her for about half an hour. She hasn't drank, like, in 2 years, like, it's completely, just that one conversation, like, switch something.
That's it.
Connections though, innit? Like, powerful thing really is, like, is that being able to find solace in someone. It's hard to have stories without, like, name dropping and stuff, but I've got somebody at the minute who's gone through different types of cancer, put on loads of weight, lost all the confidence, and they didn't know. And do you know what it was that actually got them to reach out? Was one of our podcasts. So it was one of our podcasts. They dropped us a message saying, like, something that you said in there really stuck with me, can I come and have a chat with you? And we've been working together for about 5-6 weeks now, and just the change in their personality. The first session I had to meet them outside. They wouldn't come into the gym, and they remember, but they wouldn't come into the gym. And so I was like, look, park in the car park, I'll walk out to your car and we'll walk in together. And then last week I was in the gym with another client, and she was on the running machine on her own, and I thought, like, there you go, that for me, I've been doing this nearly 15 years now, and those are still the things that I go home and I'm like, I wouldn't want to do anything else with my time.
I was going to say there, I bet that was probably more the rewarding thing, high, mate, because like, I nearly mentioned it before, you were on about the guy at Man Club who sat outside for a while. Conversation went another way, but we've had people who've sat in that car park unbeknownst to us, never come in, and then they've messaged the gym page and they've said like, they usually like lead in with, do you do inductions or something like that, just I'm a bit apprehensive about starting, blah blah blah, and they'll say like, I have been a couple of times and just sat in the car but haven't had the courage to come in, and we've like said, let us know when you're coming down, like we'll arrange for someone to come out and speak to you in the car park, just have a crack, and then if you're feeling up to it, come in, we'll just have a walk around the gym, don't even like sit on any machines, just get accustomed to it. Like you said there, similar situation. The next thing you've seen him and he's cracking away doing the work.
We wouldn't think it's a big deal, would we? We wouldn't think it's a big deal to like walk into a gym, you're just in, you go. But for some people, that's Everest. Like,
not all just about like chucking weights around and being dead strong or dead fit. Is it like that angles?
I mean, you mentioned there about like obviously the most you would. That's the one thing why you wouldn't want to do anything else.
I think I've got the best job in the world, mate. I love my job.
I get asked a lot. I get asked every course that I take now. Like I'm a trainer down the road, and I get asked every course like what's the one thing you remember from when you were in the Marines? And obviously I used to give it. When I used to go on the recruitment team and go to like universities, colleges, wherever I used to go, we used to give a PowerPoint, and I'd have a map of the world, and I'd just have black like arrows pointing to it all, and it would literally be everywhere I'd been, and I'd just go through like my career. Thailand, Vegas, not all of America, the counter-piracy off the coast of Africa, Afghanistan, doing the Mediterranean trips on ship, jungle training, Arctic training in Norway, and then I'd be like, but the one thing that'll always stick to me, and I always spin it to them, and they can't believe it, it was when I was in Afghan. I said, where we were staying, it was a local sort of farmer's compound. It wasn't like a built-up checkpoint. It was just his sort of compound that we had to build like sort of sentry positions on. And he had a daughter and a son. His daughter was probably about 10-year-old, and his son was probably Ozzy's age, about 7, 8. And they had the old Casio Foxtrot 9 whiskey watch, which was like the cheapest Argos watch you can get. It's got a light, a stopwatch, and it's about £8. And he kept grabbing my arm and like grabbing my watch, and I said to the interpreter, I was like, why is he? And he says, he wants the light. Like, he's never seen electricity like the light. And I give him the watch, and like saying, all I saw for the last 2 months, because they were staying across the road, was every night was the light going on and off on the watch. So he'd never seen electricity. His sister, you get your fold out wash kits, can't you, in like, I don't know, own bargains or something like that. And it'll have a mirror, maybe like that big, like size your phone, maybe a little bit smaller in the wash kit, and she kept trying to thing in the mirror, and she'd never seen a reflection because I didn't have a mirror. So I give her the mirror, and I can remember giving it, and she was crying because she'd seen it. And I always say to them, like, it's like, that's the first time even in my life I was like, fucking hell, no matter how hard it gets back home, that's a worry with like the shit that other people have to go through.
Perspective is everything, isn't it? I normally ask everyone like a couple of questions about things like gimmick, and what you can't do with your gimmick is you can't start name dropping people. Like, it's got to be anonymous, or like a general thing. So something in the gym that you maybe is like a bit of a bugbear for you. And then the other one that we normally say is, if you could invite a couple of people round for dinner, what it is you're making and who you're inviting round. What's the thing that winds you up in the gym?
Crocs.
Bit of comfortable footwear. Never had a pair.
Yeah, Crocs.
Everyone who wears them rates them though, don't they? But I just don't know I could be that person.
I can remember saying to Katie, Crocs, when she first came here, them Crocs.
Yeah, she'll be in there with them on, yeah. You'll have a pair at home, do you?
No, I don't, not yet.
One sort of that would have been probably loads of folk agreeing, but you see loads of people in them now.
Yeah, I saw Dex doing pendulum squats in sliders the other week. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't Deck, I'd have probably said something like that. Yeah, I was like, good lad, yeah, you're right there.
Crocs and just general, like, cleanliness, just putting, like, empty bottles left everywhere. And
well, yeah, I had that blow up in the old members page the other day it's part and parcel of it for me, is just picking bits up. I can't understand the chewing gum crack, like. Liam put in the coaches group the other day that somebody was on I think it was one of the Disney lads was pedalling backwards on the assault bike, and he just put ick. He was like, this guy's pedalling backwards on the bike, and he was like, let's give me the ick. Who are you inviting round for tea? What are you making? Why are you inviting them round?
Who am I inviting round for tea?
Who's your ideal dinner party guest?
It's a tough question, this, I think.
I think so.
If you'd have asked me a year and a half ago, I'd have probably said Goggins, just when we went through that mad phase of listening to Goggins stuff.
Aye.
But can he be living? Or
yeah, anyone, mate. This is your dinner party, mate.
how many have I got? Just
how many you want? Got loads of time.
I'd have my granddad back. I'd bring my granddad back. I'd have dinner with my granddad. He used to, do you know, when I was on ops, all I ever craved when I was away, he used to, this is when my diet was fucking horrendous, he used to make me Cumberland sausage, chicken dippers, homemade chips.
Carnivore that, mate, that's fine.
Two slices of bread and butter.
Got to be between bread and butter.
So it would be that meal, but it would be my granddad.
God, the sporting heroes. Movie heroes. I was waiting for an 80s movie hero, mate.
On there, right?
Just get Arnie I don't know, eh? That's an hard question, that.
You just have to have them all. Expendables, obviously, whatever it's called.
Yeah. By the end, there's just 40 people in there. Everyone gets a cameo.
I don't really look at anybody and be like, God, I'd love them to have them at my table. I'd like to have Churchill around my table. I'd have my grandfather. And I'll just stick with Goggins, eh? I don't know, I just think that'd be a random fucking mix of conversation, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Interesting though. Like Churchill and Goggins having a crash later.
Goggins having a...
I think he would drink as soon as he got up in the morning, wouldn't he? He would like drink and then have his freaking breakfast or whatever it was.
I was going to say, Penny will be cooking it.
See if he can do one of his challenges after eating that.
Have you got anything that you want to hit this year? Any goals, any training goals? I know like at the minute like you're flying and it's good to see, to be fair, is you just you're tipping up and enjoying it.
Every time I go down there Mondays or any time I'm at work, everyone says you're the one person I know that's got ADHD that hasn't had a diagnosis and went through it. So my mind changes all the time. Like my whole plan this year was I did want to have a go at doing what Penny had done with the show and that. That was what I was going to go down the lines of. And then I was doing the IROC stuff and I said I want to get under an hour, but I've obviously been doing the CrossFit with you guys and at the minute I'm enjoying that.
So you've been recruited into a District L team, haven't you?
I have. I had a few of them messaging and asking us to do one of them competitions, so I'll happily help out with that.
That's June, I think. That's June time, I think, anyways, yeah.
So I'll just stick with that at the minute, but like I say, I could be playing fucking squash in 2 weeks' time, I don't know. It changes that much, I don't know.
It's good though, sometimes it's a healthy way to look at it, isn't it? It doesn't have to have like an end goal or a process to it, it's just like, this is what I enjoy.
The competitions and the goals and it's the training, that's the enjoyment for me, it's the atmosphere, it's like you say in the community sort of aspect of it, that's why I enjoy it. Like the classes, taking the classes, like it's the cracking that I have in them, that's what I enjoy about it.
Staying out with your mates,
I have arguments with them from time to time, but you hang around with your pals.
I had that class on Wednesday and I wore this and it was Carly and I was like, you've got to listen to me now, and I got the same sort of answer I've had off her. Fuck off. It's just the crack. It's a good laugh to the classes. Like enjoy it.
Spot on. Awesome. I think we should wrap that up there, right? So from week one, I thought like when we get you on, it'll be a really good crack. And even when we were saying there at the start, it's more just we'll have a chat and see where it goes. And I think we've absolutely hit the nail on the head with that middle section there, just about mental well-being, and to be able to talk about it again. Somebody else might listen to that and it'll resonate with them, and I can probably guarantee that you'll get a message on your inbox and somebody will say like, thank you for sharing that. So I think real bravery to do it, massively appreciated. And I think we'll definitely have you on again for some
Yes. Well done, lad.
And do you know what as well? Not a load of swearing either.
No swearing.
The swearing was actually...
No Thailand it.
No.
That's next episode.
Next episode.
Spot on. We'll wrap that up, get some training done now, and then I'll hopefully have this edited and out by maybe Wednesday is the plan.
Spot on.
Busy weekend. Right lads.